Meanwhile, Malaysia's Economic Affairs Minister Azmin Ali has expressed disappointment towards the latest poverty report by United Nations Special Rapporteur Philip Alston. Mr. Alston put Malaysia's poverty rate at 15%, much higher than the official figure of 0.4%.
The minister slammed Mr. Alston's remarks as unacceptable and irresponsible. Our correspondent Melissa Goh has the details.
Now, Malaysia says its official poverty rate dropped from 49% in year 1970 to just 0.4% in 2016. Now, in other words, poverty hardly exists in the country. And that's because the national poverty line is set too low at less than $240 per household every month, which means the government expects urban family of 4 surviving on less than $2 a day.
Sustainable Development Goals. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future. At its heart are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which are an urgent call for action by all countries developed and developing in a global partnership. They recognize that ending poverty and other deprivation must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health, education, reduce inequality, and support economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our ocean and forests.
So number 1 goals targeted is by 2030 reduce at least by half of the proportion of men, women and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions according to national definitions, and then implement nationally appropriate social protection system and measure for all, including floors, and by 2013 achieve such substantial coverage of the poor and the vulnerable. And then by 2030 ensure that all men and women, in particular the poor and the vulnerable, have equal right to economic resources as well as access to basic services, ownership and control over land and other forms of property, inheritance, natural resources, appropriate new technology and financial services including microfinance. And then by 2030 build the resilience of the poor and those in vulnerable situations and reduce their exposure and vulnerability to climate related extreme events and other economic, social and environmental shocks and disaster. Ensure significant mobilization of resources from a variety of sources including through enhanced development cooperation in order to provide adequate and predictable means for developing countries, in particular least developed countries, to implement programs and policies to end poverty in all its dimensions. And the last one is create sound policy framework at the national, regional and international level based on pro-poor and gender-sensitive development strategies to support accelerated investment in poverty eradication actions.
Let us all do our part in reducing poverty. Hashtag say no to poverty. Hashtag pray for the poor. Let's transform the world.
Let's stop poverty.